Hi guys, welcome to screencast number 3 of the series that forms part of the requirement of an operating system platform class tutored by Mr. Andrew Cadogan. What we're going to be looking at in this particular screencast is the addition of rules to the server-based operating system, namely the addition of Active Directory Domain Services rule and the addition of a DNS server rule. For those who are unaware of the terms Active Directory Domain Services, DNS server rule, what we're going to do now is trying to give you a brief explanation of what these terms refer to. So let's look at it. Now the Active Directory is a special purpose database file, the NTDS file, that stores information about users, computers, devices, groups, and their privilege in a given network environment. Alright, and the Active Directory services are used to administer and control access to network resources. Network resources are finite, like all other resources in this world, and so therefore they have to be controlled and properly administered so that each user of the resources of the network has an opportunity to use those resources to accomplish their given tasks. So the Active Directory services allows the server to administer the resources of a given network. As you will understand, that administration and control has a security component to it. So only it allows valid users access to the resources of the network, and it keeps those who don't have the right to access out of the network. Domain. When you hear the term domain, the term domain refers to a server's area of administrative responsibility. So basically, when you hear the term domain, it refers to all the computers, devices, users, or what have you, that server is responsible for in terms of providing the resources that they require to achieve their given task. A domain controller is a server tasked with responsibility of administering a given domain. So once you hear a particular machine is a domain controller, what that means is that it has control, administrative responsibility over a given network or networks. A subdomain is a domain linked to another area of control in a parent-child relationships. So just like a family, the subdomain is connected to other domain that has, if you will, birthed it or spawned it. All right, if subdomains provide a means of balancing loads within a given network environment and what have you. DNS, which stands for Domain Name System. It's a system that is used in any network environment that employs the IPv Internet Protocol version 4. Now the domain name system is also a database. What it does is map host names or human friendly names, if you will, to IP addresses in a given domain or networked environment. Communication among the machines in a given network is in binary, ones and zeros. But for humans to remember the given address of a particular device or what have you, or machine on network, will be very difficult if we will have to recall that or refer to it by its numeric address. So the easier thing for us is to remember a name, right? A word, because of how we communicate. It's easier to remember a name as opposed to a numeric IP address. So what the DNS does, or the domain name system, what it does, it maps IP addresses to host name. You can think of it much as a phone book, whereby if you can look up a person's, and you can map a person's name to their given phone number. Alright. Also, you have a zone, a portion of the DNS database that contains resource records with the owner names that belong to a contiguous or joint portion of the DNS namespace. Alright, so a zone is basically, if you will, a sub-portion of the given DNS database. When you hear the term namespace, the namespace is basically a container that provides a context for the identifiers that it holds. So when you hear the term namespace, or like for example domain namespace, the domain namespace is actually that area responsibility that falls under a given server, and within that given area, there are going to be identifiers for different devices, users, and what have you. So that's what basically a namespace is. A name server, when you hear the term name server, this is basically a server that implements the DNS protocol. So it's basically a machine that provides the services of name resolution to IP addresses. So for the human user, it allows us, the services it provides is to link the user-friendly name that we use to the IP address of the given device that we are trying to connect or access on a given network. The authoritative name server is a server that provides answers about names in a zone. So when you say it's authoritative, means that it is the machine that you consult with respect to any kind of name resolution mapping of a host name to an IP address in a particular zone of control. Alright, so this is screencast number 3. Let's get to it.